This morning we've come out to Wyaralong Dam out on the western side. It's my first time on this dam, haven't come out here before for some reason. Very little information on the western side here to see whether the depths are going to be okay, but it seems alright. A couple of fly boys here to catch some bloody carp. But yeah, we're coming out here. I've got a new lure I want to try. It's one I made my own. I call it the Bog Frog. Made a few for the boys and myself. But out here to try and give it a bit of a early season surface run. So that's it's the Bog Frog there. Make them out of western red cedar. I got some Gemogatsu 21 doubles on the back. So hopefully we can get some footage where this one works. I haven't fished it before, so hopefully we can get into some of these snags. There's obviously plenty of it, as you can see. We'll get out into the main section where it drops off into the Teviot Brook riverbed. That's where it should get down to 1.5 meters to 3 meters or something, hopefully, and not too shallow. So let's get into it and see if we can crack a few. G'day legends. This morning I took a bit of a venture out to Wyaralong West. Haven't been out there before, haven't fished Wyaralong, but couldn't find too much information on the west entry with the canoe access. Took a punt, went out there. I thought it might have been a bit shallow, but it all ended up good. Unfortunately there was a heap of rain in the last 2 days. If you're local you would have known the storms and the hail. Unfortunately, I dumped probably, I don't know, 30 odd mil, 40 mil into the region and dirtied up the dam. But I could have gone to the main section, basin, and jigged for some standing bass in the deeper water. But I wanted to try a new lure of mine, the Bog Frog, ones that I make myself. But she was a bit dirty, so wasn't a very successful trip. So I thought I'd do a quick review on my new rig. Second hand but barely used, and then I've added a heap of mods and stuff to it myself. So you know, checking out the pages and stuff, you're always looking for new ideas specific to your kayak. What I got here is the Big Fish 105, and I'll just show you a few of the things that I've done so far and some of the things that I may change, and a couple additions here and there. So I'll run you through it, and I'll sneak in a bit of footage there of bits and pieces like with standing ability. Probably one thing I should go through first. A lot of people ask, you know, is it going to be stable enough? Are these kayaks stable enough to stand in? I can tell you that I'm a 6'4" and 100 kilos, and on this venture it's only my third trip, but I pretty much spent the entire trip standing. It really got me legs after probably, I don't know, an hour or so in. Become quite stable. I was able to use the motor while I was actually standing and moving in between the trees, which was unreal. That just becomes something that's just deadly to be able to do, to standing cast and sight cast at the snags and stuff. So it's come up trumps. A little bit of rocky chop. If you're in that, you're probably not going to stand if you're a bigger bloke. I've seen, you know, some smaller lads and stuff that can stand quite easily. I was always questioning whether I'd throw outriggers on it, but I think they're just another one to add to the whole setup, and I'll try and do it without it unless I'm going to go into rougher waters. But so far after that trip, I think I'm right. I think I'll be able to continue through the rivers and stuff. Just sit down when the boat passes and the weight comes through. But I'll run you through some of the stuff now. As you can see, I've got a water snake on there. It's just a 34 pound. That's the SXW 34/30. I wanted something nice and simple, the extendable arm and stuff. I didn't want to make it a trolling motor because I want to be able to, and what I do when I'm in, I can instantly turn it in reverse or forwards, and to actually steer with it as well. Which, you know, most of the time I'm actually steering with it until I'm just on a troll or heading back somewhere. I'll keep it straight and use the feet steering. There's quite a few different ways of mounting this. This is one thing I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep it this way or not. You can go directly through the pod. What I've got there is some, I think they're 25mm end couplers and a 40mm pipe or a 30mm pipe that goes down through it. So it actually ends up being sealed within the box, so I don't get any water in there. And I've, you know, PVC pipe glue and silicone, those two joiners at either end, and that runs this through. Obviously you have to take your head off. Remember where your wires are, you got to turn it around so it's facing this way with the props facing in the same direction. I get plenty of clearance, and I keep some markers on here. Generally this is pretty much where I stay. As you can see, I've done the transducer on the actual motor itself. It's working great. I've had no interruptions from it whatsoever. I'm not sure if you're going to do a side scan or something, if it would. I thought about getting a side scan unit, but usually I'm casting at snags. I'm not usually fishing deep water, so the Garmin's Eco Map's been pretty good. It maps the area and actually maps the depth lines as you go, so you end up creating a map that you can actually see the topography of the dam or the river that you're fishing, which is awesome. And it's clear enough. It's a big enough screen in front. You know, I'd love to have one of these, the big units like I've got in the boat, you know, a 7 or a 9 inch. But I think that does it for now. It definitely does it for my fishing. Another thing I've done for mods is it's got 3 different settings in the seat, which you'll see on plenty of other videos. I can't do that for you now because of the addition that I've done. I've just tried it. It worked really well. When you're in the forward position, like in the highest position down here, the seat can feel a little bit forward. So basically it does it without these attachments, but I've thrown these on just for some extra support. The actual seat legs go about halfway through it. I might try and find something that's a bit better than these, but they worked really well. That's just to support it higher. Or more coverage on that rail, and that rail's sturdy. Again, I'm 100 kilos in it. It's worked fine. There's no dents or anything like that. Seats you up a little bit higher, and then that gave me access to put this in. I've just bought this, and it's absolutely priceless. So it's a DeWalt T-Stack double drawer. They're about 70 or 80 bucks, but basically you've got access to 2 drawers where you've got your gear in it. And so when you're actually sitting on the seat, you're just sliding it between your legs, you know, you pull it out rather than opening up boxes. So that's worked an absolute treat. Sits straight underneath there. I'll probably put a strap over it next time I go from these storage lines, just in case I happen to flip it one day and it sits sweet. As you can see, they've got these pockets down here. It's where I keep the grips and stuff like that. That's great. EVA decking foam, you'll see on plenty of vids, that's definitely one to do. It's a bit noisy without it. And the other thing I found, that when your heels are sitting on the hard plastic, you can actually get your heels get quite sore. So the EVA is completely taken that away. It's nice and soft on the feet, takes the sound out of it. One thing to look for when you do get your EVA foam, there's plenty out there that are just a flat piece, like they've got no indentation to it. There's some with ribs, they would be great. This one has got, if you can see it there, I'm not sure, it's got the little dot profile. Plenty grippy enough, it's not slippery, it's worked a treat. It's peel and stick. It's got 3M adhesive on the back, so you just peel it, stick it down. I've been for a couple of trips, I've had no issues. It's another one, I'm not sure where I'm going to keep this, but these Rapala wind out measurers are really good. If you catch a big fish, you know, if you're going for barra or something, you can always pop your seat up, because you can stand with these seats, you know, you can have your seat up like that. The little toggles actually strap back to the back there and keep it upright. So you can use that as a leaning bar if you're not quite that stable. And then if you get a bigger fish, obviously you can get that tape down there and measure it. And they're self-retract, so self-retract pretty good. They're a good material. They're not going to deteriorate. It's quite thick, so they're a good little addition. Initially I was going to put it on the side so I can put it over my lap, but I still think I'd have issues measuring fish doing it that way. So anyway, as you can see, I've got, you know, another rod holder on the side there. If I end up changing, one thing sorry, I was saying that before, I may end up changing this, I'm not sure. The only issue I've got with this is when you go to pull it back up through the hull, you have to make sure that the propellers are actually facing upright. So if you don't get it first go, you sort of just drop it, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Usually it takes me 3 or 4 goes, and they're upright enough to sneak through the pod gap in the bottom. I may end up putting a steel plate, L angle, and actually using the you know, the swivel support arm that comes with it and attach it to it. That way I might be able to just take it out. If I do that, then I'll mount the sounder on the other side or something like that. One thing that I researched, and I've seen people asking, there's two and for it. Some people are against it, and that is wiring in your sounder along with your motor, your Minn Kota, whatever you're using. A lot of people say that you get interference when doing it. Now this is only a 34 pound, so I'm not sure if it's, you know, if you're using a 50 or a 70 pound, maybe that draws enough power from the battery in one hit that interrupts your sounder. But for a 34 pound, I haven't had a single issue. I've actually joined both wires together. They're in here with some heat shrink. It's now taped, and then I actually run I think this is a Wilson or Jarvis Walker attachment, so that's a, you know, a quick connect, and I ran that plate into the side and then down through the hull and then out through here. I've still yet to put my grommet in here. It's called a Gant if you're looking for it. They're actually a bit tricky to kind of find what you're going to do, but they do have it at Bunnings. It's called a nylon cable Gant. These guys here will go down through the hull, and as you turn it, it'll actually close up on the wire. So I'll put that in soon when I get around to it. But that, yeah, just lets me plug and play, plug it in, off I go. Battery I keep in this box at the back here. This is a bit of a universal box. Obviously you've got the net on the top, and the box itself is a pretty good crate. I don't know, this actually came with it. I'm not sure where he got it from, but it's a good crate. It's obviously where I house the battery. Hopefully soon, you know, that's 100 amp hour AGM battery. It's bloody heavy. Hopefully I'll get a LiPo 4 sometime soon, a 75 or 100 amp, which will let me get even further, because you can drain them all the way down. It also has, I'll probably change to an anchor wizard, but this came with it. It's actually a drop down anchor with a self retrieve in it, but it's a pretty basic, I think it's like a dog walker thing. It's a kind of good idea. You can anchor off and then just tie off. I think an anchor wizard would probably be a better way to go on that. Along with the rod holders, it's quite handy to have these two here attached to this box. I've got a rod in each one of these, and of course you've got your latches if you want to latch them on if you're feeling unstable and you're going to lose your rods. What this does, you know, priceless. I don't know how many guys flick lures out there just in these, but in any kayak, having a lure retriever is, you know, I probably brought back, I don't know, 10 lures today, getting them snagged in the trees. So, you know, 10 lures is 250 bucks. That's just saved me. So always keep that on hand. The PVC pipe I've got in here is just for my GoPro. So I've got a G-clamp, which I'm holding on to now, so I can't show you. If you've seen the Gopro G-Clamps, clamp that on. It sits in here nice and snug, so it doesn't spin, like I have to force it to spin. So I can keep that there so I can film, or on my chest mount. And then if I need to, like I'm looking at going to Lake Lenthals and Monduran and stuff, if I'm going to fish for the barra, I'm probably going to need a bigger net. So I figured I can actually use that to store the net as well. I can just slide it down the pole and it'll actually hold the net. So that's a 2 for 1 in that there. Obviously I've got the steering on there as well. It is really good to have it. If you set up a motor like this and you don't have, because this is an extra to buy this, if you don't have it but you set your electric up, you'll be totally fine. You know, the foot pedals, as I said, the only time I'm actually using those foot pedals is when I'm sitting on 3 or you know, just trolling forward or going back, sit back in my chair and steer with my feet. But you could do it with this the entire time. You don't really need it. It does come in handy, but you don't need it. I think that's probably about it for what I've done to it. Any extras, it's just the bits and pieces I've probably spoken about. All in all, very good rig. You'll see, you know, I'll chop in some footage there at the start, and then and that is you know, standing with the motor moving, super stable. You know, you get a bit of a rock here and there, but that's your own balance, so you just got to have a few trips in it and you'll be good to go. I think that's probably it. If anyone's looking at any of these big fish, you know, they are very stable. As you can see, they're a tri-hull. I just knocked up the stand for when I sit it here, so that I can keep the motor upright and just keep it supported by the actual under rails. But you can see it's a tri-hull. That tri-hull is a world of difference. I've had a Pedalfish 10, and as you can see, it's another smaller kayak up there that I just get for small canals, but I'm giving that to a mate pretty soon. But yeah, incredibly stable, pretty heavy, yeah, but when you're using these rigs, you know, you go in there to set up. As I said, I used to fish in that one after my Pedalfish 10 because the Pedalfish was too big. Too heavy, too cumbersome. It was a knockoff. That guy there's nice and light, but my back just gets too sore. So this here with the higher seat is just a world of difference. It gets your legs, you know, going downwards to the deck. It's just so much more comfortable. My back is fine. I can fish for 6, 7, 8 hours and my back's all good. Whereas in the guy up the top there, I reckon probably an hour into it and I'm pretty sore. So if you're thinking of getting one, I rate them pretty high. Obviously there's some other models out there, and you know, within your natives and all that sort of stuff and your Hobies, they're good, but for the price of these guys, you can't go wrong. So I hope that helps a few of you out thinking about getting one of these guys, and some of the mods. I hope that directs you in some way to do bits and pieces. But yeah, hopefully the next session I'll go out and get a few more. Right on, yes, tight lines.